Welcome to Let's Talk Antigonish, the podcast where we sit down with neighbors, experts, and friends to explore the stories, the questions, and the big little issues that shape life in our town, one conversation at a time. Today we're talking with Meghan DeCoste and Meghan Johnny about the Antigonish Farmers Market. What's happening in that building during the week when the market's not on? What's the deal with all those solar panels? What's up with the crazy pothole-filled parking lot? And also, how awesome is our farmers market? Answer, pretty darn awesome. Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk Antigonish. I'm your host Justin and the other host
Anuj.
And we are here today talking about the Antigonish Farmers Market. And we have two people in studio today. We have Meghan DeCoste, the market manager of the Antigonish Farmers Market. Hello, Meghan.
Hello.
Hi, Meghan.
And we have another Meghan, Meghan Johnny, a board member with the Antigonish Farmers Market. Hello, Meghan.
Hello.
And hello to you, Meghan.
This is very easy because I'm not going to mess up their names.
Exactly.
So, so we had a lot of questions from ourselves, and also the public has been submitting questions. So hopefully in the future we'll mention that we're going to be recording and interviewing a certain person, and then people can submit questions. So we had a few questions submitted. Yeah. So this is just a general sort of barrage of questions we're going to ask you about what the farmers market is all about. So most people in town probably know there's this giant building, the farmers market building there across from the...
That's a legacy institution.
A legacy institution. That is true because it did exist before the building.
Yeah.
Wait, let's start there. How long has this Antigonish Farmers Market been around?
It has actually been around since 1993. It started with a handful of vendors at Chisholm Park. And then it graduated. It went to the arena. And they were set up in the hallway of the arena. And then they went to the craft barn. And then they built the new market building in 2019.
Neat. I was not an Antigonish when it was at the arena, but I definitely was there for the craft barn.
Yes.
And so the building. Now, the building is huge, enormous. So one of my first questions is, who is the owner of the building? Did the Farmers Market Association, did they raise enough funds, or is there some other super rich person who owns it?
So the Antigonish Farmers Market does own the building. They do not own the land that the building is sitting on. That is owned by the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture.
Okay.
And
that's like the people who do the fair, or?
The Federation of Agriculture is an organization that represents farmers in Nova Scotia. So they advocate on behalf of farmers for various things.
And that's also a nonprofit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the land, you don't own the land, but you do own the building.
yes.
What happens if somebody sells the land? Do you have to move the building? How does that work?
I believe it's like a very long-term lease
Okay.
that is being held with the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture, and it's for $1 a year. So there's definitely an agreement in place that...
They're not going to just sell. Okay.
Yes.
So it's there forever. Mm-hmm. And it's huge. And so I have a lot of questions about the building before we get into what the market is all about.
Please,
if that's
go
okay,
ahead.
'cause I'm obsessed with this building.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful building.
It's-
We're so
It's
lucky.
amazing. It's state-of-the-art. We have a kitchen that our vendors can use to prepare all of their meals and their food that they sell at the market.
So I had a question. So that kitchen it's there, but it's designed for the vendors mostly?
It was mainly designed as an incubation hub. So for new businesses to come in and to be able to make new products that they can sell and ship, across Nova Scotia, across Canada, or just to sell at the market as well.
So an incubation hub. This is a term I'm not familiar with.
So it means to create a new product.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a brand new business, maybe even one that's once a restaurant on Main Street or whatever, you're allowing them to come in and just use the kitchen and do random cooking?
They would have to, fill out a rental agreement, of course, and they would have to have a plan. We'd also have to have the space for them. So our kitchen is being used mostly every day right now.
Is it?
Yes, currently with our vendors that we have at the market.
Oh.
Justin, did you know?
We have a lot of food vendors right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't know they were using that kitchen,
Yeah.
though. I assume they just
Yes.
showed up with their food.
No, they are not allowed. Bakers can bake their food at home,
Okay.
but anyone who's doing a Schedule A food, like anything with meat or vegetables, that needs to be prepared in a provincially inspected commercial kitchen.
Oh, so Samir, I know. Does he do his
Yes.
baking at home?
Samir is in the kitchen right now.
He is not. I did not. I just assumed he was doing that all at home. Okay.
Yeah, Samir, he does his cooking every Friday at the market kitchen.
Fat seat. I did not know any of this. So the kitchen is technically available to people who are not part of the farmers market. Like Anuj and I could go there and just start cooking. Randomly?
It is as well, yes. So you
No.
would pay a
No.
little bit
Why
more.
not? Because you need to have food security certification. You just can't go and cook.
Oh, but if we did have
is
that,
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
Just to make sure that
You don't want me
Yes.
showing up there with my
Exactly.
dirty hands cooking things. But it's also used by the community fridge. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. So they come about every second Sunday and they make approximately 200 meals every time that they come.
Wow.
So they partner with local chefs and local businesses in the area and also the food bank. Sometimes they get some surplus food from the food bank and they just all come together and they make these giant batches of soup on Sundays. People from the community can come and eat the soup as well. So like we have the community room set up as a dining room. And then they take all of the leftovers, package them, and then throughout the week, those get put out into the community fridge.
Right.
So it's not all put out at once because it can't all fit, of course. But every day there's a volunteer there that is stocking that fridge that's outside the market.
What
great.
time on Sunday?
So people can come at noon to eat soup. Yes. So between noon and 1 o'clock.
And I think the community fridge has a volunteer Facebook group where you can sign up
Yes.
to help contribute cooking the meals as well.
That's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those the meals that are in the community fridge. There's one here in the library, and there's one out in front of the market. Those are free for anyone. That's 24 hours a day available, just in case people didn't know.
Yeah. And it's very used.
It's absolutely
People
very
actually
Yes.
use it.
yeah, a lot. I'm still obsessed with the building. So a few more before we get into what the market is all about. I need to know about the solar panels because I'm obsessed with solar. There's a lot of them, and my two questions: one, is it being stored into batteries, or is it just going straight into the building? And how much electricity does it produce relative to how much you buy?
So there is 180 panels on that roof, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And it is not currently being stored in batteries. We don't have a battery backup system. However, that is something that we would love to get funding for in the future. So right now, the power is just being fed into like the building and the grid.
So you are subsidizing Nova Scotia Power.
Or it's town. You're on town grid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
as far
okay.
as the
Good
power
point.
costs go, last year there was $21,000 worth of power used, and the solar panels covered about 7,000 of that. So roughly about 1/3 of the power costs are
Yeah.
being covered by the solar.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you consume more than you produce.
Absolutely. And that's
Ah.
because, the building is so large. There's 3 large HVAC systems that are heating and cooling the building, as well as heat pumps and kitchen users. On market day, I think we're like maxed out with the power because of all of our food vendors, having all of these appliances going. But yeah, it's a big help. We do have a little bit more space on the roof for more solar panels, which will help. We might be able to produce about half of our power usage if we get more solar panels.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So the building is there. The kitchen, it sounds like it's being used all the time. There's a couple markets a week, usually, depending on the season.
There's usually 1 market a week on Saturdays.
Okay. And there
which
was
is
a
very-
Wednesday thing, wasn't there?
Last year, we did try for a Wednesday market throughout the summer. The first few that we had were really great, and then it did kind of teeter off a bit. So this summer, we're planning to have 2 Wednesday markets, and we're hoping those are going to go really well.
Okay. So what happens in that space for all the rest of the 6 other days aside from the kitchen? What's going on in there?
So there's, like I say, we do have that community soup gathering going on every second Sunday. We also have a maker swap, which is a really cool event that Life Schoolhouse puts on. That's going on once a month.
That's Jennifer DeCoste and team.
It is, yes. Yeah, so that's going on
Any
every
relation?
month. Yes.
Of course there is. It's Antigonish. That's how that works.
She's married to my cousin who I actually grew up next door to.
First cousin, second cousin, third
Oh, we don't need to get into who's your father.
Yeah. So, we have a lot going on, usually on Sundays. We also have vendors using the space in the community room to put on lessons for the public.
Oh.
So we've had paint days, we've had felting days, some really cool things going on with our vendors. And we also have partnered with the Women's Resource Center. So they have come in a few times in the past year and did workshops with their clients in the kitchen and the community room. So yeah, it's getting a fair bit of use now.
Yeah, and is that something you're interested in expanding, having more access to more groups and more events, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want the community organizations in this town to know that we are here for them. And we want them to know that if they have things that they want to do to support our community, that they are welcome to come in and use that space.
And is it like on charge basis or free?
For community organizations, it's free.
Wait a second. So the market building is free for community organizations.
Yes.
The community room, like there's that side room where on Saturdays people often are gathering to drink coffee and
Right.
Yeah.
catch up with their people. And then during the week, you can like community groups are using that space.
But not the big hall.
No, the
Not
big
the big
hall.
hall.
Yeah, it's a bit trickier because
Yep.
all the vendors' stuff.
Oh, you
is
can't just
there.
move all the tables out.
Yeah, people keep their stuff there during the week.
I see.
Exactly. Yeah.
But going back to what you're saying, you pay $21,000 on your power bill and only generate $7,000 worth of electricity, and there would be other expenses. So how do you keep your lights on? What is your source of revenue?
Basically, the table fees from the vendors, and
And
also
how much is that?
the table fees. They range from between $40 to $50 per table space
Per day.
per day per market. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a member run organization, and our members as well as the casual vendors are really like investing in that space together to keep it running and keep it as a space that all of us are able to use to sell our products.
And so who can become a member?
So to become a member, vendors need to be at the market for a minimum of 2 years, and I believe they have to have had 30 markets in each year. So they have to attend 30 markets for 2 years straight.
And then they're a voting member of
Well, that doesn't guarantee membership. So that's just a qualification. So we keep 40 members at all times. So basically a member has to step down or move away for another vendor to become a member.
member.
So
Okay.
it's a
Yes.
limited cooperative.
limited. And
Yes.
is it a charity or a nonprofit, or what is this structure?
So the Antigonish Farmers Market Association is a nonprofit organization.
With
a
40 voting
society.
members.
Yes.
A society.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. No, did you got any burning questions? I'm running out of building questions. Oh, except for the parking lot.
Oh, no. Everyone's favorite question.
Yeah. As we know, because I go to the market pretty much every week, but like the parking is always a crazy nightmare. And I'm just curious, just give me all your thoughts on it, because you're right next to the hockey rink where there's sometimes a game. There must be some animosity between the hockey people in the
Why?
market, because that's just how
I'm more worried about the potholes. They appear every second week
Yeah,
and
so-
then disappear every second week.
So give us the lowdown on the parking lot, the problems you've had, and the solutions you're thinking about.
Totally. So I would not say there's animosity per se.
Well, that's nice. See, Canada's lovely.
I guess it depends who you ask, but I do. Yeah, it's a parking lot that is used by many people. People park there during the week. People park there during the farmers market. People park there for hockey, or whatever else they're doing in the
Do
arena.
you also own that or lease that space? not?
No, so that space, the parking lot, like we said, it's owned by the Nova Scotia Federation of
Got it.
Agriculture. So we have access to that parking lot. So it's basically a shared parking lot between the farmers market, the arena, and I believe the town has access as well.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's probably why there's no animosity, because anyone is
It's
allowed to park
shared.
anywhere. So no
Yeah.
one can get angry about in territorial, essentially.
Yes.
People can. People can react however they want to. But yeah, I think that right now, no one wants a paved parking lot more than we do. We see the vision. We think it will be beautiful when it happens, and we're really working hard on that project this year. So there's a number of different fundraising initiatives that we're working on right now, with the understanding that it's not just the farmers market who's responsible for the parking lot paving, being that there's so many different
Right.
uses of that space.
Yeah.
So we're working with the town, we're working with the county, the arena, and the Federation of Agriculture to come to a plan to get the parking lot paved as soon as possible. But it is, a big
What is the
ticket
ticket
item.
price on that?
Oh gosh, well, I am not a parking lot expert by any means, but it's definitely
This is your chance to raise money.
yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
$50 million. Just say that.
Gosh,
No, right.
I believe there was a quote done a few years ago, and it was it was estimated that it would cost about $700,000.
Okay.
However, I'm guessing that's going to be closer to $1 million now with the way that the world is going.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you see a Walmart like parking space or a much more green, hydroponic kind of a place?
What is the green? What would that mean?
Yeah, you can have trees instead of poles.
Oh, I see
You
what you
can
mean.
have a very green space that is also a parking space. You don't have to
Just
create. No, this is just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful vision. I think that we are excited about the possibility of charging for electric vehicles and that sort of thing. I think, our space is so limited and we do really see it maxed out on Saturdays as is. So, we're really trying to just make sure that as many people can come and access the space as possible. And that's sort of our goal. So we do have a few fundraising initiatives that we're working on right now. There's a 50-50 draw that's happening bi-weekly, and you can find the information for that on our website.
Yes,
Is that the
yep.
same company that runs the firefighter 50-50? Is it that one?
It's not the same, no.
Oh,
we're
okay.
we're selling paper tickets at our info desk every
Oh, okay.
Saturday.
Cool,
Yes,
cool, cool.
during the markets. So yeah, you can come to the info desk and pick up tickets there.
And which other causes are you raising money for?
So that would be for the paving of the parking lot.
Anything else?
Not right now.
Got it.
It's $1
The
million.
parking lot.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, that's our main goal right now. Like this is the main thing that we hear from the community as far as improvements for the space is the parking lot, and we're doing what we can to try and make that happen. We also have a donation button on our website if anyone just wants to, drop some dollars into the cause.
Looking to save on insurance without compromising coverage? Antigonish Farmers Mutual offers unbeatable savings because protecting the future shouldn't break the bank. Whether it's auto, home, fishing boat, or farm insurance, their personalized plans are designed to save money while providing peace of mind. And as a mutual company, clients can feel good knowing their premiums go right back into the community. Get a vote today and see how much can be saved by switching to Antigonish Farmers Mutual. Visit their Main Street location for a quote or some friendly advice.
Yeah, a couple of years back, I attended a community event. I believe it was a launch of Peace by Chocolate movie one time and a book. And one of the things that we heard afterwards is the acoustic. And it's a bit challenging to organize community, conversations. It's a beautiful space.
In the market building you're talking
In the
about.
market building itself. So, but besides that, are you looking at some gradual improvements in the building features, decorations, making it warmer, greener? I don't know. Are there things that you're thinking of?
We definitely want to improve the acoustics of the building. Yeah, it can be hard to transfer sound from like the music to the other side of the building. Also, our community room, it's a little bit tricky to hear from one side to the other of that room sometimes. So we'd like to do some improvements that way. And if they could possibly be artistic improvements as well, that would be amazing.
So tell us about the musicians because every week there are musicians there. Like, who are you getting? How does that get organized? Like, can Anuj apply to be a musician?
No, sorry, I
or
can't.
Dancer then. Thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the easier tasks that I have. And the reason for that is because I'm actually being approached by musicians on a weekly basis.
Oh.
So they're sending me like recordings of themselves. And so we just kind of go through them and decide who's going to be coming in and when. And that works out really well.
And we have so many, my booth where I sell is right next to the busker. So I've got the front row seat and there's so many different types of musicians. But the one thing that every musician has in common is every child is so excited.
Right.
It's such a exciting thing to see, like just little kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is, what song they're singing. If you're 2 years old, you are so into it. That's it's a win-win no matter who we have.
One more quick question on this space, just following up. We as a town and county are constantly searching for disaster response spaces, and we double up other different spaces. And so that is one potential space, but obviously you have mentioned that people store things there, so it's not that easy to use that for disaster response. Has anybody approached you for that? What has been the response?
Yes, we have been approached by the Red Cross, and it's something that we're, working on that we would like to happen in the future. Right now, we don't have backup power. So ideally, we would have backup power before we become an emergency response
And they
shelter.
will be able to install that?
The Red Cross would not.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
No,
Because you are using the space.
Yeah, but we don't.
I know you work there.
I volunteer with the Red
Yeah,
Cross,
exactly,
so now
yeah.
I'm excited to hear that this. By the way, we're looking for more volunteers with the Red Cross in Antigonish. So if you're interested, please get in touch with me, Justin Gray. Anyway, but yeah, actively looking for spaces like that. The Legion is a good space, but yeah, without backup power and access to toilets and things like that, it becomes tricky to really shelter large numbers of people for extended periods of time.
But a very incremental investment in that can create a huge value.
Oh, absolutely. And I
So
wonder
Red
if
Cross
there's-
should consider investing that.
Well, the Red Cross doesn't really.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have the money for that. But there are grants to be written, and I think if you put emergency management as part of the grant, like it's a dual purpose, that might get you money.
Yeah, we did recently apply for the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund, and that was part of it, like getting the backup power, getting the extra solar.
Fantastic. You are ahead of the game.
Unfortunately, we were declined,
Uh-oh.
but we're going to try again next year. So we're just going to keep trying.
And this looked right at me when it was declined. I'm not part of that. So tell us plans that you have for the upcoming season. Is there anything new and different, exciting happening for 2025? Is that what this year is? Yeah.
So we do have the Pancakes and Plants fundraiser happening on June 1st. So that is going to
That's
be
tomorrow, if this drops on Saturday. So
Yes.
Sunday, June 1st.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be having our Pancakes and Plants annual event fundraiser. This year we're going to be raising money for the parking lot.
So what does that mean, pancakes and plants? You buy one of the, both, or are there plants in the pancakes? What is what happens?
It's a really big pancake breakfast using ingredients sourced at the market for the most part, as much as possible. And yes,
With maple?
yes, yeah, maple syrup from Haveracres Farm, blueberry sauce from Lock Harbor Growers. Sorry, just
Eggs?
thinking
There must
here.
be eggs involved.
Yeah.
Eggs from Six Maples; those are already purchased. Sausages from Forever Green Farms.
Cool.
Yeah, so
And
All
lots of
local. Okay.
And Casey's famous pancake recipe.
Casey Vandersand?
Yes,
got it.
that's
Okay.
right. The one and the same.
And you get, and there are also plants for sale. Are these like seedlings? Like, are we dealing with vegetable? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have 7 different vendors on site with plants, trees, herbs. Yeah, lots of different types of
Fantastic.
plants. Yeah.
And these are your regular vendors as well.
A few regular vendors and a few from that are not vendors.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be great.
Fantastic.
And Anuj, we had a listener question. So someone did write in with a question. What was that one?
Yeah, Natasha Guilfoy mentioned this, that her son got coupon from the school, this $10 coupon. And so she was wondering, how does the market see it? What has been the experience?
It's been a great experience with the NS Loyal program. It started last year, and there was 131,000 of these $10 vouchers given out to all of the school children across Nova Scotia. We saw at the Antigonish Farmers Market, we had 1,946 vouchers redeemed at our vendor stalls. So yeah,
You
there
are
was.
that accurate. You are counting them. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah, we do have to count them in order for us to get reimbursed from Nova Scotia Loyal.
It is. I mean, as a vendor, I love when these coupons go out in the school backpacks or whatever. It's so great because I see so many new faces come out to the market. And when we're redeeming the vouchers as vendors, we get to ask our customers questions, which is great because usually they're asking us questions. So I get to ask them if it's their first time at a farmer's market. And it's so just like exciting to me how many people are coming out to the farmers market for the first time because of this program. I think it's an amazing investment in the community, and it's just so good to see, all sorts of people coming through the farmers market. Like, the kids aren't always as excited as their parents, but we're just happy to see.
But this must, I think, if I'm assume that this program will create more demand for the local produce, and also create some awareness among children, especially, of how the local produce is produced and sold. That community interaction. So, is that working?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
So
great
this is
to
a
see
good
the
program from your
connections.
point of view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we hope that it continues. We hope that it continues to grow.
Mhm.
So speaking of growth, like more people are coming. It's always quite busy. Is there any conflict between like the number of people and what the vendors can handle? Like, are you reaching a situation where people are running out of product or?
Yeah. Or are there more vendors wanting your space that you don't have?
Yeah, what is the future with growth?
Yeah, it's been really busy lately, which is so great to see. Like the market, we do customer counts every hour. And yeah, the past month has been just super packed. As a vendor, I've noticed it being very busy, which is excellent. You know, like the whole goal is allowing our vendors to create livelihoods for themselves by selling products in this marketplace. And also for customers or just people, not even paying customers, just people who want to come and use this space to come there and be there. And, you know, anytime that we see a lot of people in the space using the space, we're like, this is great. This is a win. This is what we want. And yeah, I think that there's only like, the way I see it, there's only going to be more demand and there's only going to be more room for growth. And I guess it's just a question of what that looks like, you know, like maybe our vendors are able to produce more of their products, or maybe we're bringing in more vendors. Like we're just kind of like taking that as it comes.
Do you curate the vendors in any way? Are you like, well, we've got too many zucchinis being sold, so we're not, or like, how does it work in choosing who gets to come in or who has to leave or whatever?
The careful balance.
Yes, it's definitely a balance. Sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we don't get it perfect, you know. We're just trying our best. We kind of see what's happening in the market. So, for instance, we're not taking any more jewelry vendors right now. We're at our limit for jewelry vendors. And same with baked goods, except if there was like some type of very unique
Right.
baked
Like some of your
product that they had.
Syrian stuff is a little bit different. So.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we're looking for more unique things to come in the market right now.
Interesting. So
Are you interested?
well, I'm just wondering that you're actively looking for a unique thing. So it's just sort of a message to our listeners. Like,
You bake a lot of bread.
I
right?
bake. No, I'm terrible at most. I mean, I can with a bread machine,
Okay.
but
That's a talent.
no, it's terrible. But you are interested in new people, especially new and interesting products. Maybe even new weird vegetables or whatever.
Maybe, yes,
could be.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, you know, the people who have come from outside in the last few years, like Filipinos, like Syrians, like Indians, like Nigerians. You know, how diverse is the market right now?
I think it's probably more diverse than it ever has been. Like we have vendors, from Syria. We have multiple vendors from Syria. We have multiple vendors from Ukraine, from India, from Iran, from South Korea.
Do they feel comfortable in that space, like culturally, socially?
I think so. Yeah, some of them do have limited English. Our staff members, we do try to use Google Translate when need be so that we're communicating effectively. But yeah, I think when they come here, you know, they are a bit isolated, and being able to be a part of the farmers market is just a way to get introduced to the community, to share their knowledge and what they're good at, so they can share that with our, citizens here in Antigonish. So that's really great to see, like those exchanges happening.
Food unites people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also divides. Indian food is best. So, anyway.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. So there's no division whatsoever. So is there anything that we haven't talked about or I haven't asked or something you want to remind people about before we finish off this episode?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that the market is a very kid-friendly place. We usually have a kids' table set up where there's at least coloring sheets, and sometimes we have activities going on there. Sometimes we have a local painter that comes in and actually teaches people how to paint during the market.
This is a guided, supervised space?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Well, when the painting is happening, it is. Other times when we just have coloring sheets, it's not it's not guided at that point. But there's usually something going on at the kids' table. So it's a great place, for people to come with kids.
And is it accessible for the older people as well?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great. And then there's the Pancake and Plant thing on Sunday, June 1st.
Yes,
And
yeah.
what time is that?
So on June 1st, it's going to be from 9 a.m. until noon. And it's going to be a big pancake breakfast. We're also going to be having lots of vendors there selling plants. And we'll have a few tables set up with kids' activities. So we're going to have some craft activities going on, painting, hopefully face painting as well.
Okay.
Like seed planting, transplanting small tomato plants, that type of thing. So
Do you recommend people get there early who want the best plants? 'Cause that's my first thought. I'm like, I better be there at 9 o'clock for the best like beef tomato or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. I would say show up on time.
right.
There's
There'll
no
be
benefits to
plenty
getting there
available.
before 9, but 9 o'clock is a great time to show up.
Okay.
yeah,
Or
absolutely.
anytime.
Yes,
And is it
anytime.
donate as much as you can, or is there a priced?
For the pancakes?
For the pancake meal, it'll be, I think, $12.
$12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is great. Meghan and Meghan Squared, thank you very much for joining us.
Amazing.
And Anuj, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you for having me here.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Antigonish. Don't hesitate to subscribe. Just go to letstalkantigonish.ca and click. Voila! You'll receive new episodes right in your email inbox.
We would like you to consider making a small or large contribution to get Antigonish talking. This podcast is a labor of love, and we know you like it, don't you? Please consider making a contribution, small or large, maybe a monthly subscription, or a thank you for doing this tip. We are hoping to buy some recording equipment to make it possible to record our interviews with a more professional setup and pay for our audio editing software and web hosting and all that, and make it truly community-driven idea. Depending on the level of public support, we would like to engage local producers and journalists to create more regular deep dive news stories about life here in Antigonish and compensate them for their time and passion.
Right now, it's just Anuj and I doing this in our free time. You can read all about the podcast and ways to support us at letstalkantigonish.ca. And if you're a local business that wants to sponsor the podcast or even place an audio ad, we are certainly not opposed. And remember to get in touch with us if you have an idea for a future episode or a burning question about life in Antigonish that you want us to explore and get answers to. We welcome all feedback. Just email us at letstalkantigonish@gmail.com. Let's talk, Antigonish.